we have to talk about Sarah Kim because I have not been this obsessed with a female character in a very, very long time. And Sarah Kim, she is that girl and she has stolen my heart. Welcome back, my beautiful nerd gang. Welcome to another session of Nerding Out with your favorite nerd, Lee. Today we're talking about the art of Sarah Kim. If you plan on watching it, if you don't want any spoilers, then I suggest you just pause, head on out, come back to this video once you've watched it because I will spoil it. That's what we do here. We yap, we chit chat, we laugh, and we spoil stuff. Today we're spoiling the art of Sarah Kim. The art of Sarah Kim starts very weird. I had to actually pause it and like restart it because I was so confused. And you will get very confused with what is going on here. It starts with this grand opening of this luxury bag boudoir, this bag brand boudoir, and they are launching it, and it is grand. It is absolute. You can literally tell that if you were to walk into that place, it smells rich. It's filled with the rich people, and we see this beautiful lady. She like got the smirk. She is the owner or the whatever of this luxury bag brand boudoir. It sounds like deal. Sounds. Just stay with me. Stay with me. She then, we see her walking around. She's owning the room. I'm immediately drawn to her. I want to know everything about her. I want to know her story. I want to know every single thing about her. And what next that happens is we see it starts snowing, and snow is such a key thing in this show. Just remember that it starts snowing, right? It starts snowing, and they all go back inside, and it's grand, guys. It's absolutely everything that you would want it to be. Then fast forward, we move to a different scene and we see like these people who are in tents. Initially I thought these were like homeless people, but they're not. They're people that are like waiting outside, like they tent, they queue outside waiting for the store to open so that they are first to go get in this luxury items at a discount. And we see one of them, she literally steps out, she goes and she is trying to light her cigarette and it falls into the drainage, and she looks and there is a dead body and she's like screaming and everybody's screaming. Next thing the police are coming, and if you pay close attention you'll notice that the dead body is wearing the same dress that our boss as girl, our queen in the beginning, was wearing. And immediately we're like, what just happened? It was at this point that I think I paused and I said, am I lost? What happened? What did I miss? Because we just went from this luxury launch event to a dead body. And obviously, there is no greater way to start any psychological thriller than with a murder mystery. Because the thing about our dead body is that the face has been brutally, brutally, brutally disfigured that we cannot even tell who this person is. And so the police don't know who this person is. She's wearing this expensive dress. You can tell that one thing you should know, if anybody disfigures the face, that is pure hate. You have to hate somebody to disfigure their face. We know that whoever killed our gender hates her because that person just went in on her face. And the police, they come in, they secure the area, they don't know where to start because they don't know who she is. The only thing about her that is noticeable that you can use to identify her, she has this particular tattoo on her ankle. It says splendid melancholy. That's what her tattoo says. And it was I'm so glad I have tattoos. I'm not saying you guys must disfigure my face. I'm not saying but I'm just saying if anything was to happen, you guys will be able to identify me using my many different tattoos. And I've got like a bunch of tattoos, right? Right. So they don't know where to start. They don't know where to begin. And until this rookie comes in, we have two very important detectives that you must pay attention to. I wrote their names out because there's like a lot of different names. We have Detective Park. I'm gonna call him Detective Park from going on. And then we have the rookie. I'm just gonna call him Rookie. And then there's going to be a bunch of other names that I'll introduce. So Rookie comes in and introduces himself. The Rookie doesn't really have that big of a character. I think he's just used as a device to help as we try to solve this murder mystery. And he does play some key roles. I thought he was mostly going to be like comedic relief, but I don't think he did. But anyway, let's not dwell into that. The Rookie comes in and the Rookie's like, oh my god, who would discard such a beautiful and such an expensive bag? Because why wouldn't anybody steal the bag? Why wouldn't anybody take the bag with them? We're not even saying keep the bag, but the bag is worth thousands, in fact, millions of one. They like that's actually a great starting point. And the thing about luxury bags is that most of them come with serial numbers. And so if you go to the store, the brand, and they can trace who bought that bag. That's what they do. And that is how they identify our Jane Doe. They go to the luxury bag and they show them the serial number and they tell them who the owner of this bag is. The owner of the bag is Yojin. Yojin. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. She's the CEO of this other luxury brand, but like this, how can I say? She's a series. It's a local brand called Knox. She's the CEO of that brand, and we see her. They call her in, and she's like, "Oh, I gave that bag away to my friend. To your friend, my friend Sarah Kim." Here now we start to hear about Sarah Kim. We saw her, but we didn't know anything about her. But now we are eventually hearing her name, and so they're like, "Oh, can you come in and identify the body?" She comes in and she immediately starts saying, she looks at the body, she's like, I can't because her face has been so severely disfigured. And so the detective says, she look at here and she sees a tattoo and she immediately screams and she's like, oh my god, my best friend, this is Sarah. We've identified the dead body. It is in fact Sarah Kim. But then after that, Eugene asks for some time alone so she can speak to her friend's deceased body on her own. And the detective leaves her. And she actually, when the detective leaves, she actually spits on the body. I'm like, I thought Sarah was your friend. Why are you spitting on the body? Then that's when we jump into Eugene's perspective and we see who Sarah Kim is. First, we see who Eugene is to an extent, but then we see who Sarah Kim is through her eyes. And that's one of my favorite things about the show is we rarely get to see Sarah Kim through Sarah Kim. We see Sarah Kim through everybody else. That's another thing where you actually, by the time you're done, you find yourself saying, but who is Sarah Kim? Which version of Sarah Kim is the truth? Because we never really, we will see some versions of her through some backstories, but mainly we see Sarah Kim through other people's eyes. And one thing about people is that none of us are reliable. None of us ever tell the story truthfully. You don't even know if the person is just lying. But so, Eugene's, we see her. She is the CEO of this local brand. She she's new money, right? She is new money. She wants to join the ranks of everybody else, like old money people. And she's finding it very difficult. And we actually see that by like she goes to like this bougie restaurant and she's sitting there and she's like complaining about how small the portions are. And after she sees the CEO the of these malls, like the chairman of the malls, like these malls. Think about they own like all the different malls. If you're in Africa, think about Mall of Africa, Centon, all these different malls. They own these different malls, and the biggest of the biggest of the biggest. If you're here in Dubai, you're thinking about they own Mall of the Marina or Dubai Mall, of all these different malls, right? Yeah, that's who she is. She's a chairman of this huge company that owns all these different malls and properties. And so they have like some group, like some society that they do, and she's been trying to join that society. And she goes in and she tries to introduce herself, and they read her for bills. Oh my god! And that's where you kind of see that life will never be balanced. As it says in Animal Farms, all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal or whatever it is. Life will never be balanced. You can make so much money and be so big and be so impressive. She's literally a CEO of a whole brand. Like Knox is not some mom and pop thing. It's a literal brand. But they still look down on her because she's new money. So they literally read her for filth, right? For absolute filth. Her name is Chai Wu, this lady, this Chebel woman. And she's like, and so Yojin is like, oh, I've been trying to get hold of you, and the lady's like, I know, and Yojin's like, oh, I've been trying to join your society and all these things, and Chayu is like, do you think you can join us? And she says something so it hurt my feelings a little bit. She's like, you can never join us because you are not like us. See, the difference between you and me is that you are sitting on that other side because they were sitting on the other end of the restaurant and that side of the restaurant is like not too far from the bathroom. Like you are sitting near the bathroom. You are not like me. You cannot join my table. And secondly, see, I come here and I get served the food. You, the first thing you look at is how much it costs and how big the portions are. Well, it's food to me. How does it taste? It's all about how it tastes. It's all about the exclusivity of it all. Whereas you are like, how much does it cost? How big are the portions? You and I are never going to be the same. And I was like, oh my God. That is literally classism at its base. I don't even want to go into it because then I'm gonna just ramble and just keep going on. Because one thing you will see about classism and capitalism and all these different things is that you can never be enough. There will always be a child. There will always be somebody who has more money than you, who has traveled more than you, who knows more than you, and they will always look down at you because that is how it goes. And she then gets, Eugene then gets like embarrassed and she walks away. And as she walks away, she bumps into this lady, right? Sarah Kim. And she's so angry that and Sarah Kim pours her drink on Yojin and like, sort of like ruins her bag. And Yojin slaps Sarah Kim, and Sarah Kim stands up. And I thought Sarah Kim was gonna slap her right back, but she stands up with the most demure, oh, soft spoken. I don't know. She has this aura. When I grow up, guys, I want to be like her. I know I can't because I will yep, 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 yep. But I want to be that person who just doesn't say a lot of words. She just is. Sarah Kim stands up and she's like, I'm so sorry. And Yojin's like, you've ruined my bag, my very expensive bag. And Sarah goes, how about we handle it this way? You can take my bag and I'll take your bag since I've ruined your bag. And by the way, Yojin's bag is like maybe 500,000, and Sarah King's bag is like 2 million. Think about it that like in terms of prices, Sarah Kim just goes, "I've ruined your 500,000 rand bag or your $500 bag, $500,000 bag. Take mine." Which, and I'm like, even Yojin at that moment pauses and she's like, and she takes the bag. By the way, the bag that they just exchanged now is the bag that Sarah Kim's body is found in. And Yojin looks at Sarah and she recognizes it's a Sarah Kim. And we also see a flashback of when Yojin went to a bag store and she wanted to buy this bag. In walks in this woman who is carrying around this bag. She's wearing like this huge fur coat. She looks homeless because she's like carrying out this huge suitcase. She's just walking around. She looks like she is crazy. She looks like she's lost her mind. She walks into this luxury bag store. She keeps touching every bag. Everybody's just looking at her because everybody's like, you don't belong here, lady. Are you nuts? And she's just pulling her bag, her suitcase, and she's touching all the different bags. And the store ladies are trying, if you're gonna, you can't just touch things. You can't take pictures. What's wrong with you? And she turns to the store lady and she says, every bag that I've touched, I will buy right now. Aura! Aura farming. Guys, I learned that word recently from my cousin, but aura farming. She is, oh my god, I'm obsessed with you immediately. Because you've been keeping track, right? And the store lady's like, yeah. And at that moment, everybody's like looking at her. And then after that, they bring in all her bags and everything, and they're like, "How will you pay?" And she opens that suitcase of hers, and there's like stacks of money. And Yojin is in the store, and she's already captured by Sarah. And she's like looking at her, and then they ask her, "What's your name? Can we get your details so that we can fill in the purchase, the receipts, and everything?" And she goes, "My name is Sarah Kim." And then the lady and the salesperson is like, "Can I get all your other details?" She's like, "Just fill it in with your detail." And then she just puts on her sunglasses and she goes to sleep. And the whole store goes crazy. And then people start whispering, "Oh my god, that's Sarah Kim. That's Sarah Kim." It was like that Regina George moment in Mean Girls where everybody's like, "Oh, Regina George. Regina George slapped me once. Regina George did this." And it's like that Regina George moment. And everyone's like, "Oh my god, I heard she went to Oxford. Oh my god, I heard that she made so much money. Oh, I heard that she." Everyone's just like chit chatting. And Sarah Kim, we realize, is this infamous person. A lot of people have never met her, have never spoken to her, but they know of her. She is Sarah Kim. She's that girl. And Yeojin, so in that moment when Yeojin has essentially slapped Sarah Kim, beat Sarah Kim, she doesn't know what to do, but Sarah, she handles it like a queen. And she's like, "It's okay. Take my bag. My bag, which costs 3 times yours, but take my bag and I'll take your bag." And then she goes off. And then as Yeojin is like going outside, she then sees Sarah Kim again. And Sarah Kim is like, "Do you want a lift?" And Yeojin is like, "Really?" And Sarah's like, "I'll give you a lift." And Yeojin is like, "I'm so sorry. Oh, you should be mad at me. I slapped you." Sarah's like, "It's okay. Don't worry about it." And immediately Yeojin is drawn to Sarah and they become the bestest of friends. Yeojin is so gullible because the next thing she does is she literally invites Sarah to come stay with her because Sarah's like, "Oh, I'm," and then Yeojin is like, "Oh, it was you in the store with the suitcase," and Sarah's like, "Oh yeah, I'm changing hotels. I think the staff is stealing from me." And then Yeojin's like, "What did they steal?" Sarah's like, "I don't even know. I just know that my bag was not where I left it." And you're like, "But did you like call the cops or something?" She's like, "No, it's not necessary." She's selling her this person who's like, she has so much money that she doesn't even know what was taken from her, but she knows something was taken from her. And so Yeojin is like so madly in love with Sarah. And Sarah's like, "Oh, I'm looking for another hotel." And Yeojin's like, "Come stay with me. Come stay with me." And Sarah's like, if that's okay with you. And then she moves in with Yeojin and they become the bestest friends. And then next thing we see them doing things together. Sarah's like teaching Yeojin to be less desperate. The thing with Yeojin is she's made so much money. She's new money. And the thing about Korea and a lot of other countries is for you to make it in certain places, they expect you to carry yourself as if you belong. Which if you're new money, it's gonna be tough. That's one thing I've even learned. Sometimes you find yourself in the certain. But if you hired people to beat her up, did she open a case against you or anything? And then that's when they then look to see if there was a case that was open against Yeojin by Sarah Kim. And then that's when they find out there is no Sarah Kim. Sarah Kim does not exist. Her name, her every single thing, no family, no nothing. There is no Sarah Kim. But there's somebody else. I forgot what her name is. But someone else, she uses someone else's name to open the case of when those thugs beat her up. And this person is actually someone who worked for Sarah Kim. So Sarah Kim she just be stealing people's identities, guys. She just be doing the craziest things. And then they find this lady whose name was used, and she was like, "No, I never opened a case against anything. I never did that. But I know Sarah Kim because I worked with Sarah Kim. In fact, Sarah Kim headhunted me. She used to come buy bags at my store, and then she eventually I fell in. She also was like so
drawn into Sarah Kim and the mystery of Sarah Kim, and Sarah Kim said, come work for me, and then she left her job and she came to work for Sarah Kim. And then for some reason Sarah Kim was always like this mysterious person. We see how Sarah Kim did everything, how she built her brand, how it's kind of inspirational the way she is. She's so dedicated to her brand in the way that Sarah Kim, she literally teaches this girl, the sales lady, that your job is to chase people away. Don't let people in. Tell people, oh, our store is currently fully booked. And also, you see people, you treat them nasty. You treat them like they don't belong. And it's like, why am I doing that? I don't want to make sales. She says, we will make sales from the right people. Because guess what? When people feel like something is so exclusive, something is so scarce, the more they want it. And oh my God, and I was like, Sarah, you capitalist girl. I love you. I love you. And then we see all of that. They're like, but this doesn't tell us anything. This doesn't give us any idea of who Sarah Kim is. Then it pulls us back to, she's like, oh, there was one person who I think had a disagreement with Sarah Kim, and it was Chai Wu. And I spoke about Chai Wu. She's the chairman of the big malls and everything. They go to Chai Wu, and Chai Wu was like, I spoke to Sarah Kim, but she wanted to open boudoir in one of my malls, and we had a contract and everything was fine. And they're like, fine, do you have the footage from the day of the event, the day that Jane Doe died? And she's like, no, it's all destroyed. Suspicious, no? She's like, anyway, it's fine. She goes away. She immediately lawyers up. And what are you gonna do? She's lawyered up. And they're back in square one. They don't know nothing. They don't know what are they gonna do. But so they start to follow the money. They follow boudoir. And when they follow the money, they realize, oh, there's another scandal that was mixed up with somebody who was doing fraud. There then enters Mok Gai Hee. I'm gonna call her Gai Hee. Mok Gai Hee is this woman that defrauded a bunch of people, and then she killed herself. But like the day she killed herself, she posted that she just bought a bag from Boudoir. And this was before Boudoir even became known in Korea. So they're like, now we have to know everything about Mok Gai Hee. And so they then go to find all the information about Mok Gai Hee to the cyber crimes division, because remember, they are doing violent crimes, murders and all that. They go to the white crime section and they're like, oh, we are investigating this case of this person who basically defrauded a bunch of people online by people. She was selling bags, like luxury bags, but at a discount, or pre-owned luxury bags, and then people would like order the bags from her, and she just ran away with all their money. And so that person is Mok Gai Hee. And now we're gonna get to know a lot about Mok Gai Hee in a second. But then when they get there, like, oh no, that case was closed because Mok Gai Hee is dead. She killed herself. They're like, what do you mean she killed herself? Then they're like, oh, she defrauded a lot of people. She jumped off the bridge. They see the video of her jumping off the bridge, and in the bridge she's carrying this luxury bag. And they're like, oh, her house was like filled with like luxury bags. She just hoarded luxury bags, and she killed herself. She wrote her suicide note. But the funny thing is that she sprayed her suicide note with perfume, which is kind of crazy. She wants to die, but at the same time she wants people's image of her to be this, I don't know, fantasy type of thing, because her house is filled with these really expensive luxury items. And she sprays her suicide note, her self-harm note, with perfume. So it's like, what is going on? Like, who is this person? So now they're digging into Mok Gai Hee. We now meet Mok Gai Hee. We meet her. She just started working at the mall, one of the malls owned by that chairman lady, and she is working at this luxury branded bag store. And she gets there, she starts, and they're like, and she's so obsessed. She's looking at the bags, and she's like, one day I'm going to be the type of person who carries bags like this. And the salesperson, they says, honey, no, you would have to literally starve yourself. Eat once a day, save all your money, to buy one of these bags, because you and I, on our measly salary, we will never be able to own bags like this. This entire show actually really shows you a lot about capitalism and classism and all the different inequalities that come with poverty. And but I'm not gonna dwell into it. Let's go. Then they telling her about, oh, this is how the store works, and Mogai, he's like, oh, where's the bathroom? They're like, oh, we don't use those bathrooms. These bathrooms are for customers. We go all the way to the other end of the mall and we use those. And I was like, what the hell? This reminded me of apartheid. This reminded me of apartheid. If you know, during apartheid times, the helpers would not use the inside bathrooms that the families use. Black people would not use the same bathrooms as white people. They would have to go long distances. Like, not long distances, a bit of an exaggeration, but it's not. They would have to go all the way to the opposite side of the mall, or opposite side of the house, or whatever, to use that bathroom, because they couldn't use the other bathroom. So that's what they are doing. They're like, no. In fact, you're not even supposed to use the word bathroom in front of customers. Say restroom. Okay. The moment she starts working there, she really loves it. But then, like, every single time she needs the bathroom, she needs to go to the bathroom all the way to the other side. And it's like, it's just the worst thing ever. This mall, this shop, has this rule that if anything is ever stolen while you are the person who is supposed to be working on the floor, you have to replace it with your money. So one time, Moga, he really needs to use the bathroom, and so she can't hold it. She has to go all the way. There's nobody else on the floor, so she goes, and when she comes back, a bag has been stolen. And now we see all the workers are lining up, and they were like, please don't be me, please don't be me, please don't be me. And it's our girl Mogahi. She was working that night, and the night the bag got stolen, and she's like, I'll pay for the bag, how much do I owe? And they're like, you owe 50,000. Not 50,000 rands, $50,000. And how will she even pay 50,000? So now when she started her job, she was so hopeful, she was so filled with life, and now she owes the where she works 50,000. So her colleagues, they tried to gather money together and give it to her, but it's really not enough, because it's not enough. It's not even a job. She now has to start working more shifts. She has to get another job. She has to do all of this. She has to take out a loan from loan sharks, not even from the bank, because she's not going to get it. So she takes out a loan from loan sharks to pay off this whole thing, and it's just like a whole mission and a half. So one day she realizes that because they work at the mall, they get 30% off some items, and if they go to the discount outlet store, they can even get more discounts, and she can resell those. And it's one of my favorite parts. I was laughing. I was like, oh, now we can see where Sarah Kim comes from, because Moga, she decides that she starts selling. She goes and she buys the luxury goods using their staff discounts, and then she resales them on Instagram. And we see, like, she takes pictures of influencers and she crops her face into the pictures, and then she sells it as if, oh, this was my bag, but I don't want it anymore. And then people just start buying the bag, and I was like, oh, social media, my god, my goodness me, social media, excuse me. So she's doing good. She actually steals her colleagues' bags, access cards as well, and she uses her colleagues' access cards to get more bags. Mukahi, Sarah Kim, they are questionable characters, as you can see. Clearly, they are questionable characters. And so she does this thing. She starts to get some money, and she gets enough money to pay off whatever she owned. The store, she pays off that 50,000. And then she starts this business of hers of reselling the luxury bags, the luxury goods, and eventually she makes enough money to even go pay off the loan shark. And she goes there and she gives them the money. Oh, but before that happens, they shut down her whole scam, because they've realized that 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 employees are doing this. Employees are buying stuff in bulk and selling them on and reselling them to make profit. So what they do is they now put a limit. Each person cannot buy more than a specific amount. And what Mugahi had done is she had taken like a lot of pre-orders and she was going to fulfill them, obviously, by going to buy and all of that, but now she can't. And then she goes to the loan shark to give them back their money. She literally has all their money. Like, she borrowed 50 from them. She literally has 50, or she has like 50 something, and she gives them their money, and they're like, what about the interest? She goes, I'll pay back the interest. They're like, no, what's gonna happen is you're gonna pay us the money and the interest today. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna borrow you the interest that you're going to use to pay us. They literally forced her to sign a contract right there and there to say the interest on the 50,000 we gave you is 20,000. So now we're borrowing you 20,000. They literally make her sign. They hand her the 20,000. They take the 20,000 back from her, like, oh, thank you for paying back your interest. Now you owe us 20,000 and we will come to collect. But now her bad scam is over. Now she owes them the 20,000, and on the 20,000 they putting more interest on the 20,000, and now they like, she can't pay them. She can't. Now she's trying to run off and she's trying to run away and everything, and they literally come to her store. They harass her in her store. She literally has to run away and jump into one of the in buildings. There's always the chutes where you open and you throw the dustbin inside. She literally has to jump in there, guys, to run away from the loan sharks, from the Moshonisa. And she jumps in there and she's like, I can't live like this. And that's when she makes the decision that she is going to off herself. She actually, before she does that, she gets the tattoo, Splendid Melancholy, because she's like, whatever I do, whatever I try, I'm just cursed. I just have bad luck. And that's where we see her. She goes and withdraws all the pre-ordered money that everyone was giving her, and that's the money. The opening scene was actually not Sarah Kim, it was Mogahi. She was the one who went and withdrew all the money from the ATM. She went and like hired a car, like a bougie car. She went and she bought like a huge ass coat, and she went and bought like the bags. And when they asked her what her name was, she looked at a magazine and she said Sarah Kim. And I was like, oh. And then after that, she goes off and she jumps. But as she jumps with this bag, and the strap of this bag breaks up, and the little bedazzled things, they break, and they make up a word, Badua, while she's inside. And she decides in that moment that she doesn't want to die. She doesn't want to die. She literally wills herself to survive. She swims out of the lake that she just jumped in, and she comes out alive. And when she comes out, she takes her phone and she texts, I just bought a bag from Badua. And that is where Badua is born. And the police think Mogahi is dead because essentially she did commit suicide. There is literary evidence of her jumping. And they ask her, well, did you find the body? They're like, no, nobody ever came up, so we just ruled it, we just closed the case. And so the police guy is like, no, we need to search the lake. We need to check for a dead body, because clearly there's a dead body in there. Someone has died. And they're like, no, we're not gonna do that because we don't wanna. Now you want us to investigate ourselves, because if it turns out that Mogahi is alive, it means that the police did a bad job. So the police don't wanna investigate themselves, right? So they're like, no, we're not gonna do it. So this cop guy, he remembers that the chair lady of all the malls, she had a fish tank in her office, and the fish tank had what are they called? Parawanas? I'll tell those fishes. So he takes one and he throws it inside there, and then he makes it he knows that the police are not gonna help. So then he makes an anonymous tip to say, oh, a fisherman found one of those dangerous fish in there. So now they have no choice but to drain it. And so they drain it and they find a dead body for sure. And at that point, what happened? If they found a dead body, which means Mogahi did die. And if Mogahi did die, then who is Sarah Kim? And the episode ends there, and I'm like, I need to watch more of this. I need to watch more of this. I need to see everything. I need to see every single thing, because what is this? What is this? What is this? I'm like, what is this? What is this? What is this? I need to know. And then the next episode comes in, and they're now looking at, they're investigating the dead body that they found in the lake. And the dead body is a male. So it is not Mugahi. It is not Mugahi. Mugahi's alive. But who is the dead male body? And then so the detective is like investigating some of the places that Mugahi used to go to, and he sees like a picture. And in this picture, the person wrote a message, and the message sounds so familiar to how Mugahi writes, how she wrote a suicide note. And she takes this picture, and there's a picture of two people, and it says forever love, and then it says Kim Mujon, no, Kim Unje plus this other guy. I forgot what's his name. But he's a male escort. We're gonna call him male escort going forward. So then the detective is like, oh, is that the dead body? So they then recall that in one of the investigating things that they read, that guy's name came up. That guy's name came up. She is the bodyguard to the mole chairman. And so they're like, okay, we need to find him because we think he's been killed. They rush to his apartment. His apartment is covered with like blood, where there's like a watch, and the watch has blood. And so then they bring him in. And they go in there, and then they thought that he's dead. They thought that his body's the one in the lake. And then they find him drunk out of his mind, high out of his mind, in his bathtub, like his wrists are covered with blood. They take him, they arrest him. They don't arrest him. They take him to the precinct to hear his story out. And they ask him question. He immediately starts crying, and he says, I killed her. I killed her. I killed her. They're like, what do you mean you killed her? What do you mean? First of all, that dead body's not you. That's kind of where I was a bit lost again. I feel like what they do so well is that they piece things together, and they throw random things to confuse you. So at this point, I'm a bit confused. So the dead body, who's the dead body? Who is the dead body? But he's alive. He's sitting there. They're starting asking him questions, and they're like, what happened? He's like, I killed her. I killed Unje. And they're like, who's Unje? And what do you mean you killed her? And then now we get to see his point of view, where he's now talking about Unje. And so he says he meets Unje. Unje is this rich housewife, and he's a male escort. He at the bars, rich women come in and everything, and that's where he meets Unje. She's married, and we're like, Sarah Kim is married? What is going on, Sarah Kim? And so was like, yeah, that's where I met Unje. He tried to steal her car keys, and then he pretended to bring them back, and they exchanged numbers and whatnot. But she was like not very interested in him, where all the other married women are so interested in him. And the fact that she's also young, whereas all the other married women that he normally deals with are a little bit older. And then there was this one time she calls him and she says, please come to this address. And then he goes to that address, and she's like, take off your shoes. And he's like, what? Because he thought she was about to say, come in and do me because my husband is not here. She's like, no, take off your shoes. And then he takes off his shoes, she wears the shoes, and then they walk to like this food side store, and then they eat. And he's like, so you called me here because you want to eat? And she's like, and it's like, why me? And then and Unje's like, Sarah Kim Unje, she's like, because you're the only person who picked up. And so now he's also very drawn into her, but at the same time he's playing like he knows he's gonna score big, he's gonna get a regular, she's gonna start paying him, and blah 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 blah. We don't see them do the nasty or anything, but he's falling madly in love with her, and they start talking, and Sarah and he asks, who's your husband? And then Unje is like, oh, my husband, everybody knows my husband. It's like, who's your husband? He's like, everybody knows my husband, but who's your husband? And it's like, my husband is this huge, rich, scary loan shark mob guy. He's the head of the mob. He owns like these companies that are loan sharks, and everybody in the city pretty much owes him, including Mr. Escort Boy, Tombo, our little play toy. He also owns this guy. He's like, what? I don't want to play this. It's like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's okay. It's okay. And he now is falling madly in love with Unje. Initially, he wanted to use Unje, but now he's in love with Unje, and they just hang out together and all of this. And one time when they hang out, he sees bruises on Unje, and he's like, "Did your husband do this to you?" And Unje's like, "It's fine." Like like, and the thing is, when she's in each one of these characters, when she was Sarah Kim, she was this demure boss queen. When she was Muga Hee, she was this witty, depressed, desperate girl. And now when she's Kim Unje, she's like this soft-spoken housewife who you don't know like what's going on. And then Playboy, our little play toy, he says, "Do you want me to kill him for you?" And Unje's like, "You would do that for me?" And he's like, "Yes, Unje, I love you." And Unje's like, then they literally plan this whole thing to kill Kim Unje's husband, the mob guy that everybody's scared of and everybody owes. And then he comes and he literally, while Kim Unje is with her husband, and he stabs the husband. And so the police are like, "So what happened? So you killed her husband? Did you just confess to murder?" And he's like, "No, because Kim Unje took the knife for her husband. She jumped in front of her husband. She got stabbed." And I was like, I am confused. I'm confused. How did that happen? Why did that happen? What? I thought. And then as he stabs her, Unje says, and he runs because, are you gonna stay? You just killed a mob boss's wife. And then he runs off, and then next thing, Kim Unje, the husband, is holding Kim Unje and screaming, and you're like, wait, is the husband not abusive? Does the husband love his wife? What is going on? I'm so confused. Oh my god, I am so confused. I don't know what is going on right now. But that's where I will, oh my god, that's where I'll leave you. I think I'll leave you guys here. We are only halfway through. And so much has happened. At this point, Sarah Kim is 3 people. At this point, she's 3 people. I don't know if I should leave you guys here, but Kim Unje doesn't die, obviously, because we meet her later on as Sarah Kim. She doesn't die. But the guy, the tomboy, the toy boy, the little toy, the play take, he's like, "I killed her. I killed Kim Unje." And they're like, "No, you didn't, because the story that you told us is from months ago, and she didn't die." He's like, "But this is what happens next." And then he starts to explain how Kim Unje disappears for a while, and then she comes back, and when she comes back, she is using her English name because she ran away from her abusive husband, and she's now using the name Sarah Kim, and now she creates this identity of Sarah Kim. The way she starts speaking is a little different. She and him then work on creating Boudoir, and she even uses him like to promote the bag, because they're male escorts. They're surrounded by rich wives, and one time he would give the bags to the guys to promote the male escorts, and they will be like a male escort will be with one of his sugar mummies, and he'll be like, oh, you should get a boudoir bag. That's what all the ladies are carrying. And then the wife will be like, really? And then she will now go buy boudoir, and that's how they spread it. They spread Bordeaux by name. And so him and Sarah, they start to create this. Sarah even buys him an apartment, moves, he stops being an escort. She does all of this and that for him, basically takes him out of the life. They're living good. But then Sarah, Kim Unje, aka Sarah, she starts asking him to do favors for him. And it's not only promote Bordeaux to your male escort friends, but she now has him spying on people for her. She has him sleeping with some of the rich older women so that she can get info for her, so that she can create this empire. And one of the women that she gets him to sleep with is Chan Wu, the rich chairman who owns all the malls. And he gets intel on her and everything, but he's in love with Kim Moon-jae, Sarah Kim, and he feels like they've made enough money now, and he feels like she's different and she's changed, and he doesn't want to sleep with rich old ladies anymore. He just wants her and him to just live their lives. But Sarah's like, I just started, I'm not stopping. It gets into a point where Sarah's like, I don't want to. The boy toy is like, I don't want to do this anymore, and Sarah slap him again. Still left him again, because you are okay being a male escort. You're okay sleeping with rich not white, but rich old women for your benefit. But now that I am building a brand for us, I am making you and I rich. Now you wanna play hard to get? Hell no, you better shape up and go sleep with that lady. She literally slaps him, and he has no choice, but he goes on. And then he doesn't wanna play ball anymore. He starts to suspect Sarah Kim, and so he goes and he starts following her around and everything. And he realized that Sarah Kim has been keeping a lot of secrets from him and all of that. And then Sarah sends him a warning. She sends him a warning to say, honey, relax yourself. You're not going anywhere. You are not going anywhere. It's you and me forever. And in fact, not forever. You do what I tell you to do when I tell you to do it. But I love you, and I'm going to give you money, I'm going to give you comfort, and we're going to be rich together. But you need to do what you have to do. Even if I speak a little bit different or I act a little bit different, because this is our life now. This is our lifestyle now. We are not these kids running around anymore. And now he gets angry because he then finds out that Kim Unje has been lying to him all along. She didn't love him, she used him. And so he gets angry and he goes to the I hate stupid boys. I hate weak boys. I hate weak men. We are rich together. We are eating the money together. What is wrong with you? Why are you being a B with an H right now? Why are you being soft? He now goes and he snitches to the mob boss and says, oh, by the way, I was having an affair with your wife all along. Oh, by the way, she actually planned to kill you, and all of these things. And so now when we find him in his hotel room, drunk, high, crying, and saying, oh, I killed Kim Moon-jae, it's because he thinks that the husband killed Kim Moon-jae. He thinks that the mob boss killed Kim Moon-jae, killed Sarah Kim, because he went and blabbered. That's what he thinks. And now they have to bring in the mob boss, and they bring him in and to say, oh, you were once married to Sarah Kim and she died. Now you are suspect number one, because who else would want to kill her? And I am like, Sarah Kim. And I'm gonna have to leave you guys there. I don't know what more we can talk about. I will give you guys part 2 of the art of Sarah Kim, but I don't know, you guys tell me what you guys think so far. If you guys are gonna watch it, if you guys tell me your opinion. Like, first of all, who do you guys think killed Sarah Kim? Who do you guys think Sarah Kim is? I love this female character so much, and I have so much to say about her. And at the end of part 2, that's when I'll give you guys some of my things I didn't like about the series, but I am so in love with Sarah Kim. I absolutely. She lied. She scammed. She manipulated. She did all of this and that, but she is not that bad of a person. No, she's not that bad of a person. In fact, she's a boss. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I will leave you guys there. I love you guys. See you next time.